Usually on my big birthdays, I like to do some kind of rampage so it's memorable. I thought, what could I do that I would remember when I'm 60 years old? I said, all right, I'll try to get as many girls as I can on my 40th birthday. So I did like 11 in one day.
Tony, in the last video, you said you like Ladyboys, but you're not gay. And then so many people disagree with you in the comment section and they said that you were in fact gay or at least bisexual. What do you say to those people? Well, hello there, internet. Pete here from Thairish Times. What's the story? I hope you're keeping well. So about 1 year ago now, I interviewed a retired lawyer and bodybuilder named Tony Huge. And in that interview, Tony spoke about his lifestyle in Pattaya, Thailand, one of the world's largest red light districts. Tony spoke about building a harem in Pattaya, and he went into detail about training women for this harem. And as you can imagine, the comment section absolutely exploded. So many of you requested a part 2, and here it is. So in this video, we're going to do another deep dive into the life of Tony Huge. I'm going to ask him, has he built this harem that he was seeking to build last year? I'm going to ask him, is he exploiting the women in Thailand and the Philippines? I'm going to straight up ask him, is he a narcissist? And then we're going to ask him about his views on Ladyboys. So we've got a lot to cover in this video, and this is only part 1. In the next video, part 2, I'm going to ask Tony about the death of his friend Leo. And if you don't already know that story, Tony's friend died in Tony's house back at the end of January under very suspicious circumstances. The autopsy report hasn't been released. As far as I know, murder hasn't been ruled out. There was a woman getting strangled in a bedroom, and I asked Tony why he didn't intervene when he heard screaming. So we got a lot of stuff to cover in part 2 as well, and that's going to be the next video. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into part 1. Hope you enjoy it. Trigger warning. Some of you are going to be very triggered by this interview. Leave your comments in the comment section. I always appreciate freedom of speech and open, share your opinions in the comment section. If you agree or disagree, let's hear about it. Let's get into it. Okay, so Tony, in the last interview I just mentioned there a second ago before we went on that, well, it was just over here in Ireland, we say it was a banger. Just a great video, went viral, and it was because I think just how honest you are with the answers. So I hope today you're going to be just as honest. So basically, in the last interview, Tony, you said your aim was to have a polygamous relationship with multiple women, all living together as a team. But you said it kept falling apart because the women you had this relationship with would constantly fight with each other. So have you achieved this polygamous relationship 1 year from our last interview?
Oh, wow. It was a year ago. Okay. So I had it. I had the harem of just 2 girls working perfectly before I went to America a year and a half ago. And then I came back and did the interview with you, and it all fell apart around that time. Lots of drama. I ended up keeping those 2 girls on and trying to add more girls to it. That was a mistake, because those girls were trained. I didn't train them properly. And since then, I went to an immersion program in the Philippines called the Millionaire Social Circle with David Bond. And he goes a different place, about 3 times a year. And he with a group of guys, and they learn how to choose women and how to communicate with women better and everything. For me, it was to learn about how to build a harem, because he has a thing called the Harem Quest. So I did the immersion program. I took this course, and $12,000 is the cost so far for the immersion program. So it was a heavy investment, and it went well worth it. I learned a lot of good info. And then 2 other things happened that added to my learning process, how to build a harem. One is my friend Leo came and lived with me, and he's from like a Muslim culture, and he understands a lot of the psychological elements of building a harem. And I was learning from these things from him. And then third is just more experience over time. But Leo came to this conclusion, actually, that David Bond came to this conclusion also, that my mistake was that my previous harem girls had seen the way that my baby mama number 1 interacts with me, and she disrespects me, and the women lost respect for me, and I could never really get it back. And to be in a position in a harem where I'm the man and I have all these women, and if they don't respect me, then that's why there's drama. So unfortunately, I could never break the drama with the harem girls that had seen how baby mama treats me. So I have gotten rid of the harem. It got to an extreme level of drama, which was dangerous to my life. Imagine, how angry a girl gets and then she kind of attacks you. Imagine like three girls being angry at you and living with you and causing that much drama. So that's how bad it got. I thought that building a harem wouldn't even be possible. I mean, after that, I almost gave up. Um, but then, what I have also, on the other hand, I have all these tools. I have financial freedom. I have the ability to live anywhere in the world. I have a lot of experience with girls. I have, getting very close to actually building the harem. So I didn't want to give up. Instead, I did clear out the old harem and I did start a new one, but I only have one girl. So it's a long way. Getting the first girl is easy, right? That's just getting a girlfriend. Getting the second one is harder, and getting the third one is even, exponentially harder. So I'm back at square one with one girl who hasn't seen the way that baby mama disrespects me. So she doesn't disrespect me. And I chose her because she's bisexual, so that, because in the previous harem, two of the girls were bisexual and a couple of the girls were not bisexual. And I think the problem is that because the girls weren't all having sex with each other, they weren't like building that intimate relationship bond, which puts a lot of pressure on me to be like manage the relationship with each one of them instead of them also managing a relationship amongst themselves. So this time it's going to be that the girls have to all be romantic with each other. And so now that means, of course, I have to have her choose the girl that she's going to be compatible with and enjoy spending time with and want to be intimate with. So we're just starting that process of looking now.
Tony, why do you want this harem so much? Like, is this just kind of this dream or this fantasy? Is this something you're just chasing that, okay, the next time you're going to have maybe another harem and then the same thing's going to happen? Like, why, what is the fixation on this harem? Why do you need that in your life?
All right. So there's a lot of reasons. If you ask me at different times, I'd give you different answers, and all of them are reasons. One is, in the relationship world, I feel like it's the next level. So I feel like everything in life, a game, like sure, business or fitness or anything that we do, we want to get better and better at it. Well, in the relationship world, I feel like once I've mastered a relationship with one girl, it's time to add another girl. It's time to add another girl. It's like leveling up. Number two is I need a lot of attention. I grew up with my two sides of the family, but my mom's side of the family was really loving and like romantic. My mom and my stepdad were so romantic with each other, and they always spent all the time together, spent a lot of time with me, and there was just so much love and attention that it's pretty hard for one girl to give me the level of love and attention that I want. Number two is I do want to have more children, but I don't want to have split families. I don't want to go between, like it is now. I have baby mama one and baby mama two. And right now I have to split up my time, going to visit one, going to visit the other, go to visit my girlfriend, go to visit another girlfriend. And then each person can only get so little of my time. I only get so little of my of time with them. But if I can have a harem, then all the baby mamas and girlfriends can all spend time together at once. So it's really efficient. And next is because, I can't find one girl to give me all of the things that I want. Like, let's say I like when a girl's a really good cook, and I like when a girl massages me really good, and I like when a girl can talk to me more intellectually so I can have a stimulating conversation. And so I have all of these needs, and it's just too much pressure to put on any one girl. I don't wish it on anybody. Like I don't want this girl in the background here. She's from Thailand. I brought her with me here to Manila, and that's the new girlfriend, harem number one, the new harem queen, hopefully. And I don't want to put that much pressure on her because I care about her. I want to see her happy. And right now it's great because I'm keeping my expectations of her. They're high, but they're not. I'm not trying to put all of my needs on her because it's too much for her to satisfy. Instead, I'm saying, instead of you doing all these things for me, find another girl and she takes half the workload.
And how does she feel about all this?
She, like a lot of girls, is in love with me, and so she's pretty much down with whatever I want with certain limitations, you know. So I don't know if this is the type of relationship that she would choose if, you know, before she fell in love with me who wants this. I think it's more because I want it, she wants it. But she's also really interested about it. She's curious about it. She's the type of girl that likes to try new things and challenge her own beliefs. She's kind of adventurous. So part of it she finds like exciting and adventurous. She had a girlfriend before, and I asked her, "What's the difference when you're in a relationship with a woman versus when you're in a relationship with a man? What do you get that's different?" And she said, "With a woman, she gets a lot more like talking and bonding with emotions and all this stuff. A lot of stuff that I don't want to do, right? So she wants to just sit and gossip, and that like gets her feel comfortable and excited, and that's her old girlfriend is. And then she said men are more physical. So if I want to be more physical with her, she wants to be more gossipy. Both of those are things that she wants in a relationship. I can't give her what a woman can give her in a relationship, not to mention oral sex, because I think, you know, when women give each other oral sex, it's a whole other level. Like they just know exactly what each other wants, and I don't want to put in that much effort, you know. And also my dad died of tongue cancer, you know. I don't want to like, you know, stimulate my tongue that much going down on a girl all the time. So if the girls can go down on each other, take some of that pressure off of me, they're better at it. Then it takes all out of my foreplay workload off. So she knows that all these are benefits of being with another girl, and then she's got the benefits of being with another guy, and so she's thinking, okay, maybe also for the same reasons that I want it, which is that I can't get all my needs satisfied by one woman. Maybe that's true about her too. Maybe she's got needs that another girlfriend could satisfy of hers as well.
So, Tony, in the last video, the comment section blew up when you spoke about training women for your harem. Okay. What do you say to the people out there that disagree with you training women and your lifestyle?
Well, if we spoke long enough about this, I think everybody would agree that women need to be trained. It's not the same as men. Like men have the ability to train ourselves. We have like logic, we can be stoic, we can learn and we can adapt. Women aren't able to like innovate like that. They have to be told what to do. And it's just somehow something that works in their brain, whether it's estrogen or something else, but it has to be like that because if women were so mentally independent like that, then they wouldn't be compatible with men. Like there's a masculine energy and there's a feminine energy. It's like a woman can't have a penis, right? Otherwise the relationship doesn't work, and balls biologically. Well, psychologically, the woman can't have like this independent thinking that men do, because if they did, it would just conflict too much, and the man wouldn't be able to be the man and lead the family. Like this is built up anthropologically, evolutionarily. And I didn't realize this until more recently either. Like I thought men and women are equal and think the same, but you can pick up any book, like even the most mainstream book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and learn the difference in the psychology between men and women. And the net of it is, and this is kind of red pill stuff, and this is what the mainstream doesn't want to hear, but the net of it is women have to be trained. And it's the mother and the father's job to train the woman according to their value system and class system. And in Thailand, you see this. In Thailand, you see the women are very well trained to be like good wives and family members. And in other countries, like in the Western world, they're not really being trained. Like people are being trained by the media. Like that family has less of an influence on the upbringing of people in America. And so that's why you have like a complete disintegration of values in America, and everything's just haywire, and the polarity between men and women is just so confused. But you still have that polarity in other cultures, and you especially in cultures where they train the women. And then in the Muslim culture, of course, too, it's like they treat women very differently. So Western people, I think, need to open up their minds and see other perspectives, that the Western way of raising women, girls into women, and men, boys into men, isn't necessarily the best, and is not certainly not optimal by what you can see about what's happening in the West. So there maybe there's a better way. And I think accepting the fact that women need to be trained by their parents initially, and then, their husband or the man that they find takes over. And you notice the women are always able to adapt to the man's values, adapt to the man's life. Like the women, it's like the man is the foundation and the woman latches on for the ride and adopts everything of the man. And when they break up, the woman goes to another man, and this is very shocking for men to see. And this is when reality slaps them in the face. The woman does a 180 on all of her values and everything and adapts to the new man. And the old boyfriend would watch that and be like, how is this possible? I thought I knew this girl. I thought this girl loved me. I thought she loved my values. Now she has completely different hobbies, completely different values. Yeah, because women are able to do that. They are able to completely adapt to, and that's part of the training. So when I'm trying to choose a woman, also, I'm trying to choose one that is either well trained because her parents or her ex-boyfriend trained her, or she's trainable. And my mistake in the past with harem girls is I was choosing girls that were either too old or too stubborn to be trained, and they weren't trained well.
How do you train them?
How do you train them?
Yeah.
Oh, the same way you train. I mean, this sounds demeaning, but this is an easy way to, explain the most basics ways, like how you train a dog. If you watch Cesar Chavez, the dog whisperer, all the things he says about positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, not rewarding bad behavior. When there is bad behavior, you have to nip it in the bud very quickly, because if you don't nip it with a little bit of attention very quickly, then it'll fester and turn into something much worse later. And asserting your pack dominance, this alpha male thing, like you have to be like the alpha male for that female. You have to be the leader of that female. And you have to have a strong value system that even you yourself are willing to sacrifice for, because they need to see that we have to sacrifice for this value system. So yeah, all the same elements in training that you would use in training children or training dogs is the same thing to train women. And the same way you'd also train men to a certain extent. Like if men are in the military, how do men get trained in the military to become disciplined and follow rules and be organized? The same way. So we don't have to say it's training women is like training a dog. We can say training women is like training soldiers in a military.
What do you say to the people that would say that you're exploiting these women?
Yeah, that is the common impression of what I do, especially since I go to these countries where the people, people are less sophisticated and have less money. However, Leo, when he came to live with me, he said, I'm the one being exploited. And I didn't realize the extent of it until he really addressed it head on. Not only did he address it with me, he addressed it with the girls. He called meetings with the girls and he talked to the girls about this too, about how I was in a position of being emotionally abused, financially abused. I mean, it's kind of like the reality behind the scenes is I'm like this old guy with money, and these young girls are figuring out how to get as much money and time and energy out of me as possible, and using all kinds of manipulation to do it. And like Leo was really disgusted by that, because he thought it should be the other way around. And he saw me getting dominated by the women. Because another reason why I wanted to come to Asia is because in America, I'm like a beta male provider. I'm not the alpha male aggressive type with the women. And in America, I was being taken advantage of really badly by women. And I came to Asia thinking, okay, in Asia, I can be myself. I can be more loving, more open, more giving. The girls will be more grateful for it. And instead, what I've realized is that I'm training them. See, we're always training. A man is always training a woman, whether you like it or not. If you're mindfully training them, then you're training them what you want them to be, and you're doing it like a teacher. If you're not mindfully training it, then they're learning by watching, they're learning by listening, and they are being trained. And sometimes if you're not mindful about it, they could be trained very badly. So I've been carrying this forward my whole adult life, ever since my first relationship that I was in, which was an abusive relationship, the woman abusive towards me. It set this habit of me being in abusive relationships, because the way I'm interacting with the girl, which is by rewarding her bad behavior. Like when she throws a tantrum, I give the girl what she wants. And then the girl learns, oh, I can throw tantrums and get what I want. Or, oh, I give the girl money to make up for like, oh, let's say I promised a girl I could take her to a romantic dinner. I couldn't. I'll give her money instead to make up for it. I mean, there's lots of little things I would do like this that just train the girl to be bad. And then the girl starts thinking, anytime I feel bad or does something wrong, he gives me money. So now she has a motivation to be like upset or cause drama and get paid for it.
Tony, in the last video, you said you like ladyboys, but you're not gay. And then so many people disagree with you in the comment section, and they said that you were in fact gay or at least bisexual. What do you say to those people?
There's different degrees of it, because if the reason you like ladyboys is because you like a penis, to hold a penis or put a penis in your mouth or your butt or whatever, maybe that's what's gay. Maybe it's the penis part that's gay, because the ladyboy is more feminine and better at being a woman than a woman is. Why? Because they work harder at it. It's a matter of hard work, and a matter of intelligence and ability to learn. So the ladyboys that I've met, most of them, they are very feminine. They're more feminine than women. They work on themselves. They get the surgeries. They do the makeup. They put more work into a woman that just relies on her looks, like a woman. So it's really only the penis that would be the gay part. But a lot of them have very small penises that are, you could consider them a large clitoris anyways.
And are you interested in the penis?
So I have a friend that I don't think of him as gay. He seems totally straight to me, but he says, I said, but yeah, I'd rather have a ladyboy with a surgery. That way she's got like a vagina also. And he said, why would you want that? You can do so much more stuff with a penis. Thought that, so you specifically want a ladyboy with a penis? Yeah, because they want the prostate stimulation. I don't know. There's a lot of it. Apparently there's a lot of things you could do with it. I don't know. To me, I don't really pay attention to the penis much. To me, if I'm with a ladyboy, it's a clitoris. It's not I don't think of it like a penis really.
But would you like put the penis in your mouth?
No, I don't. I don't really like the penis in my mouth. Yeah. But it's tough because like I don't know what every different ladyboy wants to feel good, and I would want to make sure that they feel good and that they're satisfied. But most of these ladyboys act so feminine. They say, "Oh, don't worry about me. Whatever makes you happy is what I get off on." So in that case, that's a very feminine position, and the penis gets treated like a clit. Now, if the ladyboy said, "I want you to, do stuff to my penis to get off," then I, just as a good person, just reciprocating, not being selfish, I would do it. But it's not because I get off on penis stuff. It's because I just want to reciprocate. But that just almost never happens. That's usually, like I said, they just want to be a girl. They don't want you to pay attention to their penis very much, because then that's like acknowledging their what they don't want to be. They don't want to be a man. They want to be a woman. They want you to treat them like a woman.
So Tony, you've been in Pattaya now for a while, and I mean it's the maddest place in Thailand. It's wild. What's the wildest thing you've ever done sexually down there?
On my birthday, my 40th birthday, I was trying to be with as many girls as possible and make like a vlog video documenting the whole thing, which I did, but never got published because I don't think the public can handle it. But it's there. It's ready to finalize editing and publishing my 40-year-old birthday rampage. Usually on my big birthdays, I like to do some kind of rampage so it's memorable. So I thought, what could I do that I would remember when I'm 60 years old? I said, all right, I'll try to get as many girls as I can on my 40th birthday. So I did like 11 in one day. I couldn't finish every time, but I finished like 4 out of 11 times in one day. Yeah.
Jeez, Tony. And did you take some Viagra for that?
I took everything you can imagine. Viagra, Cialis, blue and black ox natural testosterone boosters, Cabergoline, yeah, everything. Handfuls of stuff.
So Tony, have you ever got an STI?
Yeah.
What did you get?
Oh boy. So I mean, going back into America before all this crazy stuff, when I would get it, not very often, but it just every time it happened, it was from picking up a girl in a dance club, like picking up the drunk horny girl. And later I realized it's because the drunk horny girl, it wasn't a one night thing. She's drunk and horny every night going home with a different guy. And these type of girls are the reason I'm saying all this, because I don't want people think, oh, you sleep with a hooker, that's not safe, you're going to get an STI. But actually I got a higher percentage of STD or STI from just girls in a dance club, not from hookers. Like, because the girl in the dance club, she's drunk and she's partying, she's not taking care of her health, but the hookers are professionals. They know when they have a disease, they go get it fixed, they go clinic for testing at first signs, they wash themselves, they watch out for things. Like, having sex with a professional is usually safer, in my opinion, than having sex with a girl who's like too shy to address her health issues because she's shy and not a professional. So yeah, the first times were in the US, just dating and stuff like that. And gonorrhea and chlamydia. And the chlamydia much more common. Like, I've had chlamydia, or okay, so there's 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 urinary tract infections, which are very common. Everybody gets them all the time. Heck, you don't even need to have sex to get them. There's like bacteria builds, the wrong type of bacteria builds up, but they are contagious. So you can have a UTI it's pretty benign, but it is contagious. You feel like a little bit of an itch, or like a girl, it's much more common for girls to get it. And for those, I can treat that with cranberry extract or cranberry juice. And so that's something where if I'm super sexually active, I'll just be taking more cranberry juice or cranberry extract. The next one, chlamydia, that's a little bit more aggressive. That won't go away with cranberry juice. And that's much more common. It's very contagious. A lot of people get it, but you just take azithromycin, one pill, and boom, it's gone. It's easy. People's mistake is that they take the azithromycin and then they have sex with the same person again, and they give it back and forth to each other, and then they never get rid of it. So you have to like take a break from sex and take at the same time as azithromycin as anybody else who might have gotten it. Which in the old days, when I was going from girlfriend to girlfriend, if I got chlamydia, I had to give like 6 other girls antibiotics and either try to put that in their food or explain that to them. And then I remember this one time, my girlfriend, I didn't want to tell her about this. She couldn't handle it. She's one that didn't want to be honest about what I was doing with other girls. She just wanted to not know. She knew, but she didn't want to know. So I'm like, okay, consistent with that, then if I gave her chlamydia, I need to give it to her without her knowing. Not I'm trying to hide it from her. It's just, again, she doesn't want to know. So I taste the azithromycin, tastes horribly bitter. And I put it in the smoothie so I could try to put lots of ingredients to try to hide the bitter. And it was still bitter, and she wouldn't drink it. So after all these ways of trying to get her to take the azithromycin without telling her what it was, finally I had to tell her what it was. And then, of course, then she got really mad. So yeah, I used to deal with that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I had just as much STD problems in America, is what I'm trying to say, as I have in Thailand in red light districts with hookers. So I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that just because someone's sleeping with girls in the red light, there's going to be any more incidents of STDs, when I think actually like dance clubs and the night pickup scene and drunk non-professional girls are a greater risk.
Tony, how would you describe your personality? Because to me, I mean, you're a great talker. Listen, it's very obvious that you would have been a good lawyer. Okay, you could sell, as we say over here, you could sell ice to the Eskimos. Okay, how would you describe yourself?
Mostly, I'm a nice guy that tries to help other people as much as possible. That's why I do like the content I do, teaching about biohacking, and I'm more of a nerd. Like I like to research, but when I was younger, I was such an isolated nerd, and I was researching all the time and spending a lot of time with family. I didn't develop the same social skills that everybody else developed by going to parties and doing social functions. So there's something a little bit weird about me. My perspective and everything is weird because I haven't been socially conditioned as much as most people. So I think the way that I think and feel about things is actually a lot more raw, a lot less culturally influenced, and more influenced by my own self-discovery. And as I got older, I wanted to learn more social skills, and I wanted to get out in public more. But isolating myself when I was younger turned me into a little bit of an agoraphobe, like fear and anxiety of going out and being in public, because it's so much stimulation to me. Like when I'm in public and I see so many different people, it makes me anxious because it's just too many things for my brain to process. So yeah, as I get older, I get better and better at dealing with social anxiety. And at the same time, I like attention. So it's a weird thing because I get pleasure if I'm teaching a seminar in front of 1,000 people. I actually feel comfortable and I actually enjoy it. And yet if I'm in a small group of people, I feel awkward because if it's a couple people, it's fine because I can understand everything that's going through everybody's mind based on body language. But if it's a larger group, it's too much to process. So I think I'm actually more of the shy, more introvert type who also likes attention, who realizes I have to become a better extrovert in order to get the attention I want with less anxiety. Yeah.
Tony, would you say that you have narcissistic personality traits, or at least, I mean, some people could watch this interview and say, will you come across as being a narcissist? What would you say to that?
Yeah, my baby mama posts a meme every day about narcissists because she thinks that the whole problem is that I'm obsessed with sex, I'm hypersexual, and that I'm a narcissist. And actually, I think those parts of me are the masculine traits, and she just resents masculinity. I think that um the fact that I think different is masculine because I'm not so socially conditioned. The same reason I said like women have to adopt a set value system and style. Like man can create the value system and style for the women to adopt. So I'm that's the one way I am masculine. Then narcissist usually also means like selfish, like you adapt your values to whatever benefits you, not society or some greater purpose. However, my entire value system is based around a greater purpose, which is the biggest influence on who I am is my father's influence, that his purpose in life was to build knowledge and a legacy and resources for his family, and that my duty is to do the same for my children and family. And so one of the reasons I feel so unsettled is I don't have a stable family. I have to rebuild it. Because we had an amazing family before, and then my father passed away, and then a lot of things fell apart, and now it's time for me to rebuild the family. The same way I have a brother and he's got to rebuild a family, but he's got a very different value system. So he's going to have to build his own family and I have to build my own family, and we have to start from scratch. Yeah. So my mission was always to build knowledge, resources, and perspectives to be able to give to my children. So, and then also to benefit other people. And the reason why is because I just believe, and so did my family, in figuring out how we can give our highest and best value, like what our highest and best value is, and then give that to the world, and then everything else falls into place. So if I can find what I'm really good at, what's the biggest contribution I can make to other people, whether it's a small community or society or the whole world, and I do that, then everything good flows from that. So that's always been my approach, is like, how do I give maximum value, and then things will come back to me and I don't have to worry about the money. I don't have to worry about counting numbers. And so that's what I've done. I don't deal with money very much. I make it rain. I make it rain money, but it's only a side effect of my contribution to society. So I always give and I don't take. I give and I let the world give back. So as far as my value system, people would think I'm a narcissist because my values are contradictory to maybe Catholic religion sometimes, and maybe Muslim religion or maybe Jewish religion. And people think that your value system should be based on like a religion or a culture. But I think there's a value system that we could create that's better than any other value system, and it would borrow most of the things from common religions and probably 80% from the Catholic religion, because there's a reason why the Catholic religion works so well. It's been time tested for thousands of years, and it allowed some of the most powerful civilizations in human history to thrive. So the Catholic system certainly works, but I think there's more optimal systems. And I think you see this with Christianity, where Christianity is sort of adapting some of the core values of Christianity to more modern concepts and approaches. And civilization is going to change very much as we're gaining the ability to mutate ourselves through genetic manipulation, through interfacing with artificial intelligence, and soon we're going to have android bodies assisted by artificial intelligence. And then what are even humans anymore? So the end of humanity is coming soon, and our value system is going to have to adapt to allow us to thrive going forward. But there's still a lot of core values that can be carried forward. But the question I have, and I don't know the answer, is like, what is the meaning of life, right? So my family taught me it's to provide for the children, and because that's what our parents did for us, and give them a good life. And that's been my goal. And I think the harem is actually the way to do it in my situation. But if someone else's value system is something different, then it's not that either one is bad. It's just that the reason why they see me as a narcissist is because I'm not adopting any existing value system. I'm building sort of a new value system, but I'm not the only one. As I travel around the world and meet a lot of outside the box thinkers or people outside the matrix, I realize a lot of us have built the same value system, but the value system has allowed us to thrive, has allowed us to have very interesting lives and successful lives, and happy, happy, pleasurable, meaningful, productive lives. So I think I do have a value system. So I'm not technically a narcissist. My value system is greater than myself, but it's a value system that I think most people don't understand because they come from, set rules that they think aren't supposed to be broken based on their value system.
Coming up in part 2, I talked to Tony about the suspicious death of his friend Leo in Pattaya, Thailand this year. Yeah, you see, Tony, the argument would be that if you heard her screaming, why didn't you go in and stop it? Like you said, if she was scared for her life and you hear someone screaming like that, why would you not go in and try and help them? You're being stalked in Pattaya in the aftermath of all this. Who was stalking you? Was it the Thai police or somebody else?